Hey guys, I found the leaders of DC Geeks.
Hi, I'm Scooter. I'm the president of DC Geeks.
I'm Anya. I'm head writer and editor.
I'm Brandon. I'm doing writing, podcasting, and starting to take over physical events.
So what is DC Geeks about? What are you guys here for? What do you guys provide to the community? What do you guys do?
So one of the main concepts that we're doing is we're trying to be a central place for the local nerddom to get to know each other and to know what kinds of performances that are typical for people within our group.
Locally, where are you guys based?
Oh, that's right, the DC metro area for the most part. A little bit, maybe out to about an hour away from it.
Okay, so throughout Virginia and then Maryland and then the DC area.
There's a bunch of stuff to do in DC. There's a lot of people would say, oh, there's nothing for geeks to do in DC. And we'd be like, no, there's dozens of events. There are more things than anyone could ever hit. But it expanded from that and promoting individual events to promoting whole groups.
We do a lot of sort of event reviews. We do group reviews. We try to look for folks in the area that maybe appeal to our demographic. And the kind of neat thing is, as we find a group that is into minis or costuming or anime or something, we've heard of them, we go interview them, we talk, we get to know them, and we discover through them 3 or 4 other groups we'd never even heard of. It's this never-ending sort of maze of groups in the area that we just keep discovering and bringing to attention and trying to get word out that they exist even.
What are your favorite things that you've discovered, maybe in 2012, that you weren't expecting? Yeah.
Nerdlesque. Yeah. Burlesque performers who build their entire shows around nerd genres. So you will have a Doctor Who burlesque show. You'll have a Nintendo-based dance show. You'll have
the Honey Badger.
The intersections, I think, are the neatest thing because, yeah, we knew there was a great fringe arts community in DC, sideshow folks, small-time performers, the clowns that you love.
Yes.
And we knew burlesque, and so we decided, Scooter decided to talk to them because they're art folks and they're on the edges like a lot of geeks are, and we discovered there's this whole sort of cross-pollination that goes on. That was just amazingly cool. So
then we'll start going to events, like we went to the lightsaber training with Think Geek that they had recently, and it was amazing. They had somebody who came in as a choreographer, a team of choreographers, and they would divided everybody up into groups. One group was watching Star Wars, the other was getting a tour of Think Geek in their offices, and then the others were swapping in and out of doing these training sessions, and it was fantastic. And there's all these little niche events that, unless you happen to be subscribed to the Think Geek Facebook page and live nearby, you might not have heard of. So it's awesome to be able to get word out about stuff like that. I would say lightsaber training was definitely my favorite because they had one of the people who works at Think Geek and his little daughter there, and she was the best Sith I've ever seen, bar none. She was amazing. Maybe this tall and force choking the crap out of her dad, and it's that's way too adorable. So
that sounds awesome. Scooter, what about you?
That's a hard one. So I'd say my favorite's probably Super Art Fight so far. It's basically an art duel between 2 artists where they mess up with each other's drawings. And it's crowd cheers to see who's actually winning at any given time.
One person will start drawing a Death Star, and the other person will be like, "That's not a Death Star, it's a Pokeball," or
So do they put it up on a big screen or something so people can see it? What's the venue for that?
Butcher's paper on the wall.
Okay.
Depending, they've done stuff with. We actually just did an interview with Jamie, one of the main people for Super Art Fight, and they were saying they did a thing with Apple where they had each separate iPads and such, and it would go up on a giant screen. In that case, one thing that I wish that I had actually gotten a chance to see, but we found out about it 2 days after it happened. They did a giant boulder race down the streets of DC, where they made this giant foam boulder, and they
Indiana Jones style.
Indiana Jones style, and they had people come up dressed as Indiana Jones and have to run down the hill so they didn't get crushed by the boulder.
It's like those zombie runs that I hear about too. Where people dress up as zombies and stuff. But this is awesome. I need to follow you guys better because I don't.
Quidditch League in DC that practices on the mall constantly. There's the first annual Krampus March on December this year. So you had dozens of people dressed up as demons right before Christmas looking for the bad kids on the streets of DC. I mean, there's an amazing amount of stuff and an amazing amount of creativity in this area.
So are there any last things you guys want to say, especially how can people follow you? Well, even if you're not in the DC metro area, you can still follow DC Geeks.
Followers in Spain, and we're not sure why.
Spain and like China, but everybody has followers in China for some reason.
Well, and we also do content that's not purely local. We're currently doing a series of articles on feminism and misogyny and geek culture. So, you know, not everything is about here is a 5-mile radius within the next 2 weeks. Some of it's, you know, general geekdom.
Yeah, you're doing misogyny. We've got ones, something that we've noticed a lot that's really struck me is we found these cosplayers and makers is just the sheer passion and geekdom. And so there's a bunch of articles we're planning to do this year about just what is your passion? What are you doing? What is the obsession that is drawing you into this over and over again? So it's not just local stuff, but that is our core and our heart.
And our podcast, we do lots of interviews with local nerd personalities, but the content they generate is not just for local people.
Right.
Like a lot of webcomic artists, a lot of, you've been on it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, awesome. So where can they follow you? What are your sites?
Easiest way is www.dc-geeks.com. And then you can follow us on Twitter at DC Geeks or at DC Geeks. And Facebook, I think it's facebook.dc-geeks.com as well.
Okay.
When in doubt, put something before like podcast.dc-geeks.com, flickr.dc-geeks.com. Like, that's the easiest way. And there's RSS feeds that you can sign up for that keep you up to date on all of our articles, and the podcast also gets released through there. So it's a good, all of our content winds up on the main site. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That was really awesome. Yay! Bye!